All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. As you seen last night, our Steelers, they couldn't protect the quarterback. Now, the other day, that was a Saturday night. No, that was Sunday night when the Chargers played the Patriots. I watched Justin Herbert pretty much run for his life. He was in a cage. He couldn't get out. And they couldn't protect him. They couldn't protect him all year long. So it was not a surprise to see New England get to Justin Herbert. I thought I was watching the same thing take place last night with Pittsburgh and Houston. Yeah, Houston's got a good defense. It's got a good front four, and they can put pressure on the quarterback. But I thought Pittsburgh could handle that. Well, evidently, the more they dropped back to pass, the more that Houston got a beat on them. And it's not necessarily that they done something so great. It's just that the pedestrian style of offense that Pittsburgh runs, for those little short screens and not really pressing the field, they done that pretty much all year long. And once you get to putting a little pressure on that and you see what they're trying to do to you as a defense, then you can start tightening up a little bit. And that's pretty much what happened to Pittsburgh last night. And they, as the game went on, they started getting closer and closer to Rodgers. And a lot of it has to do with offensive play calling. I'm sitting here watching the game, and they got the same pattern of play calling. They want to run the football, then drop back the pass on second down. Very rarely did he come out throwing and then followed up with another throw. So the balance was a little bit off. In a team, against a team like the Texans, you can't get into a pattern where they can sniff out what you're trying to do. You have to keep them off balance. Pittsburgh came out of the gate and they did that, but they kind of got away from it. Part of the problem with that is the receivers. You don't have the greatest receiving core to begin with, but when you have an opportunity to make some plays against a great defense, you got to make them pay. Pittsburgh had an opportunity to do that, and it fell apart when DK Metcalf dropped that pass when it was wide open. Well, you can't do that when you're going to be up against a gun as the game goes on. Rodgers knows that, and that's part of the reason why, Metcalf didn't get a pass thrown his way for at least a quarter and a half. You got to catch the damn ball. And unfortunately, it's a trend around the league. These guys, they cry when they don't get the ball. When you throw it, they don't even catch the damn ball. A.J. Brown is the poster child for that right now because, he's been bickering with the team pretty much all year long. It's always something with A.J. Brown. He can't do but so much if he don't get the ball. And every time there's an issue, he goes straight to the media to talk about it. Well, he dropped some key passes the other day in the playoff game. And what did he do after the game? He split. He didn't face the music. Well, you can't cry all the time. And then when you finally get what you want and you don't come through, you got to come and face the music and at least express that if you want to still maintain a level of respect. Such is the case with me. I came over here yesterday and I told you that despite all the hoopla around the Texans, that Pittsburgh was going to handle Houston. I told you they were going to whip the Texans. Well, it started out like that. And it also started like a lot of games when you're playing against a great defense. When you first come out of the gate, you got to make them pay. Pittsburgh, they did that, except the part about making them pay. They got 3 turnovers. They didn't make them pay. And that let me know that they were probably in trouble. And the defense, meanwhile, they're out there all the time. Eventually, you're going to start to get tired. And eventually, they're going to just say the hell with it. That's what happened to them last night. Same thing happened to Texas Tech in the first round of the college football playoffs. They got that championship defense. No help from the offense. Came to the point in the fourth quarter, just say the hell with it. They're not going to help us. If we don't score 3 touchdowns ourselves, there's no way in the hell we're going to win. And we ain't going to score 3 touchdowns. So let's just try to save face and get on out of here without getting beat too bad. So that's just the way it goes. If you got a great defense, still need some help from the offense and vice versa. Well, The question now is what's next for Pittsburgh? Word is, rumors are, fans talk, even before John Harbaugh got fired, that message has been stale around town and in the locker room and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now they're saying that Harbaugh actually lost the locker room. That's the reason why he got fired. I don't believe that either. Um, those guys were playing hard, and they played hard all the way up to the end. It just didn't go their way. If they didn't have any respect for their coach, they wouldn't be playing hard at all. So I think that theory goes out of the window. But again, these people have to have something to talk about, and they come up with all kind of theories as to why. Well, I personally think that Tomlin, he's not going to go anywhere unless he wants to go somewhere. Now, if he does, there's what, like 6, 7 openings around the league. If he was to leave Pittsburgh, he can go somewhere else and get a job. But he's been in Pittsburgh so long as he's established himself. So if the Rooney family still wants him there, why not just go ahead and stay? That doesn't even matter what the fans think to a certain extent because they're going to come to the games and spend the money anyway. So the owners, they don't really care about that. Now, if he got to the point where he's agitating people around town and they're not getting the results on the field, well, then it's time for him to move on. But I don't think that is the case because, again, they did make the playoffs. They didn't advance, but that's okay. But I don't think the Rooney's are going to make a rush. And I also don't think that Tomlin is the type to listen to the fans that want to make a move. He'll stay just to pick at them. That's the kind of coach I think he is. So I don't think much is going to happen. But as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, I think they can con him to come back one more year. And again, Pittsburgh's not going to have a high draft. There's no way that they can go in and get some of the talent that they think is going to evolve later into the league. They won't have access to that because, again, they're picking later in the draft. Never do they get a chance to pick at the top of the draft. Unless, of course, they give up a whole lot and move up in the draft. And I don't think they're going to do that because overall they're doing fine. They just got to build a team through free agency. So we'll see how that goes. JC, what's going on, man? I see my Steelers got knocked off. There's no great funerals or anything going on over here. But I had to come on and own my words because I did say yesterday that we were going to whip the Texans. They give up 14 points on offense and they couldn't protect Rodgers. And they got 3 turnovers from Stroud and they couldn't really make them pay for it. Now, the Texans kind of remind me of Chicago. Chicago got away with all those missed 4th downs against Green Bay the other day and all those points they left on the field, and they put themselves in a bad situation. They have been making great comebacks all year long. So the question is, are they going to continue to make these comebacks, or is reality going to strike? Well, most of the time, it's reality that strikes. They're going to fall behind in these playoffs, and they ain't going to be able to get the chance to catch up. If they fall behind the Rams 14, 15 points, they ain't catching the Rams or anybody else in the NFC. So if the Bears are really serious about contending, and I don't think they're a serious contender, if they are serious about it, they need to tighten it up because eventually you're going to get blown out of these playoffs, depending on the fact that you're good enough to come back. And then you have the gall to get into the post-game conferences and talk about you just knew this was going to happen. No, the hell you didn't. You just got lucky. And that luck's going to run out at some point. Houston the same way. That offense is going to kill them. It killed Pittsburgh. It killed Texas Tech in college. Anytime, actually killed the Chargers. Anytime you have an offense that's sputtering and not consistently operating at playoff time, it's going to get exposed. And when it get exposed, it's going to be an ugly fall for you. And that certainly is the case right now that I'm seeing unfolded. And Chicago, I just don't think they're going to last. Houston, their offense is going to kill them. So it's just a matter of time to see how that works out. All right, JC says, if you notice, the league is being taken over by younger coaches having success. Maybe the Steelers have to have a coaching change, different coaching scheme. No, I don't believe that. I mean, somebody has to be the coach. There's only 32 teams. Somebody's got to win. So it's no surprise that Ryans, who played in the league, he's having success, but he's not coming up with nothing that nobody hasn't seen before. Still come down to the basics. Can you run the football? And when you have to throw it, can you protect the quarterback? Pittsburgh couldn't protect the quarterback last night. Now, if he had protection, he's got people running wide open, which is also a red flag for the Texans. Everybody's not going to be getting beat up front like they did Pittsburgh last night. And they're going to hit some of those wide open receivers that Aaron Rodgers didn't have time to get to. So you can have all the great defense in the world up front, but on the back end, you better cover that up because you're going to get torched. But the age of the coach, I don't think that makes a difference. Now, if Tomlin was running pure running wing tees and playing 1970 football, then it's time for him to go. But all these guys are running the same schemes and concepts. They're not doing anything because you're a young coach that nobody hasn't seen before. You might have a different ideology about when to go for it, fourth downs and things like that, but there's no real difference there. It's just a matter of can your players execute like you executed your game plan during the week. That's what it comes down to. So Tomlin, he's old because he's been around a while, but in reality, he ain't that old. Pete Carroll, 74? Tomlin's about my age, so he should be about 54, 53. He can coach another 12, 13 years if he wanted to. Will he do it? I doubt it. But he can do that if he wants to. He's already established. And just like Harbaugh, he might go for the all-time wins in NFL football. They keep adding games to the schedule, and mess around and keep on winning. You can find yourself at the top of that leaderboard after a short period of time. So that's how that goes. But there's really not much to talk about today. You're a Steeler guy, except own up to the fact that your team didn't perform. And especially after you say, like I did, that they were going to win. Other than that, there's nothing else to say about it. But you have your divisional round set now. Houston is going to go to New England, and Denver is going to host Buffalo. That's another one of those rounds where pretty much anybody can win. I don't have much confidence in the Broncos offense, but I do know that Sean Payton is a good coach. So he's going to come up with the schemes. Can his players execute? Is what I want to know. And Buffalo, they play when they have to play, and this is an opportunity for them to get to the Super Bowl. You don't have to worry about Kansas City. There's no more Baltimore with the dynamics that they present. And it's wide open in the AFC. Anybody can come out of that 14 race. In the NFC, you have Seattle hosting San Francisco, and you have the Rams going to Chicago. I don't think that Chicago can beat the Rams, especially when there's not going to be any comebacks. And San Francisco, they pretty much got whipped when they played against Seattle 2 weeks ago. The only difference there is San Francisco keeps losing players. If they can get a patchwork offense or team together, they can still beat Seattle. But I just think at some point the injuries is just gonna bury him. George Kittle went out with an Achilles the other day. He's done for the year. And I don't know how many guys you can lose and still win. But if they mess around and get to the Super Bowl and win it, and Kyle Shanahan got to be awarded the Coach of the Year for the next 3 years for what he's going through this year. But I just think the injuries is just too much for him to overcome. Unless something changes, I don't see my opinion changing on that. And but either way, you're going to have two new opponents in the Super Bowl this year. Philadelphia losing the other day. They're going to break that team up to a certain extent. Expect A.J. Brown to be gone. And Kansas City is going to have to break it up. I don't think Kelsey's coming back. You're going to have to find rebuild around Mahomes while he's mending his injuries. Kansas City has a chance to break that team apart and see what it is that needs to be done. But I tell you what, if you don't know, they come up with an agreement to build a new stadium across the state line in Kansas. Kansas City is divided by the river, Mississippi River. You got Kansas City, Missouri, where the Chiefs play on the west side. On the east side is Missouri. Kansas. I'm getting it all messed up here. Kansas is to the west and Missouri is to the east. So they play on the eastern side of the river. Once you go to Kansas City, Kansas, this is where they're going to be moving. And by the time they get that stadium built and up and running, Kansas City is probably going to be rebuilt team-wise also. I'm not sure they're going to have Andy Reid at that point, but I expect Kansas City to come back, and they're going to be competitive like they always been. Every time you think they were dead, they come back stronger, and that's what's going to happen next year with the Chiefs. But right now, it's wide open. Josh Allen, you want to get to the Super Bowl, got an opportunity. You're playing against these upstart quarterbacks, Bo Nix, C.J. Stroud, and Drake May. He's definitely the dean of that class. And if the defense holds up and they can score enough points, I think this is an opportunity for Buffalo to get into the Super Bowl. And it's going to be hard to keep them out. So I'm taking an early prediction right now. I'm going to say Buffalo is going to get to the damn Super Bowl. And they're going to get it on with who I like at NFC. I'm going to go with the Rams. So LA and Buffalo. That's what Super Bowl is going to be. All right, Cheech and Chong. Hit the like button. It's free and sub if you haven't yet. That'd be great. I think Benito going to have a big game against the Bills. We'll see. Bills are going to be hard to beat, man. The road is wide open for the Super Bowl. No dominant teams out there. Everyone looks beatable. Yeah, that's true. And that's what you really hope for in any league is parity, where any fan can just say that team is going to win. Why do I need to watch? It's great for ratings to have parity, and you definitely got parity going on right now. And the question is, who's going to fill these vacancies after all these coaches have been fired? And it might not be the end of all the firing. The Buffalo, a lot of people want to get rid of McDermott. A lot of the fans, they don't like LaFleur in Green Bay. And he's probably the most likely to move on because his contract is up. I think Green Bay better hurry up and resign that dude because he's been a good coach for them. And Harbaugh, he had a formal interview with the Falcons. I think that is a good fit. You got that guy, B. John Robinson. You don't have a real quarterback. Penix. It disappointed me what they said about Penix. I noticed early in the year, Penix, he's a classic front runner in a lot of ways. If he's got time to throw in a clean pocket, he's going to put it in there. But if you get anywhere near him, then he starts to, tighten up a little bit and try to get rid of the ball too soon, and he makes a lot of bad passes. That comes from the fact that he's been hurt a lot. When you've been hurt a lot, you don't want to get hurt again. And he ended up getting hurt again. So they started talking about, well, this guy here, he can't perform the offense from under the center. Well, you didn't know all of that before you drafted the guy. How am I able to watch the TV to determine what's going on with your team? And all I do is see them when they play on Sunday afternoon. You're there every day. Why is it that you can't see what I'm seeing just by watching the damn game? Penix, he's great as long as he has time to throw. Put him in the shotgun because it says he's not comfortable under the center and develop the shotgun offense around Penix. You put him under center, it's problematic. So the question is, if Harbaugh does take the Atlanta job, what would he do with Penix? You can't get rid of him. Not right now anyway. When you bring in another quarterback, you keep Kirk Cousins, I don't know. But if I'm Cousins, I wouldn't even worry about it because as you know, Kirk Cousins is the luckiest guy. As far as time goes, he always seems to end up in the right spot. And every time they put a move on him, he gets rewarded financially with a franchise tag or a big contract. Something happens in this guy's favor. I don't know what he's doing in life to make him so favorable, but damn if he ain't favorable because he always seems to end up in the right spot. If the Falcons get rid of him, he's going to wind up somewhere else. And he's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's better than the Phillip Rivers. If Phillip Rivers has to come off the couch to show up quarterback play in the NFL, a guy like Kirk Cousins, he can play another 6-7 years and make another bank full of money. So if I'm Cousins, I wouldn't care Where I ended up. You don't want me Falcons? Okay. I'll go down the street to the Panthers or somewhere. He's going to wind up somewhere where he's going to make a boatload of money. Trust me. All right. Krista, I guess that Krista Bond. Krista Bond, how you doing, Krista? You have a good day. I had to come on and eat a little crow because my Steelers got whipped last night. I don't duck the criticism. I came yesterday and I said what Pittsburgh was going to do to Houston. They didn't do it. Some people, they sweep it under the rug and move on without saying a word. But me, when my team lose, that's when I talk the most trash. When we win, I don't say nothing. What's to say? They took care of it on the field. But when I lose, I'm going to talk the most trash then. So a lot of people don't like that, but that's fine. But you can't say that I didn't defend my position. And I'm going to defend my position for my teams. Now, do I think Rodgers should come back? Yeah, I think Rodgers should come back. And they need to shore up that offensive line. Go get me 2 receivers I can depend on. And Pittsburgh will be fine. Krista says the Houston defense, man, they mean. Yeah, they mean. They mean against a quarterback that's immobile. If you got a quarterback that can escape that pocket, and Rodgers, that's his downfall. His age, he had an opportunity to run several times last night. He couldn't take advantage of that. But a young mobile quarterback, you can beat Houston. See, last week, the damn Colts lit them up for 30 points. So this defense is not invincible like people think. And I don't see Houston. They're going to have to get some breaks. And Buffalo's going to have to fall completely apart. But this right now is a race that Buffalo is clearly favored to win now. Despite being the number 6 seed, they're still a dangerous football team. And they know they can beat New England. They know they can beat Denver. They know they can beat Houston. It's just a matter of going out there and doing it. It's going to be some close games, but I think this is Buffalo's time. And maybe actually this time they can hit a damn field goal in the Super Bowl when they need to. Navoya, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. And I think Pittsburgh should move on from Rodgers. Well, they probably should. They should get a younger quarterback to groom, but I'm not sure Rudolph is the guy. Legion of Steel says defense was not the problem last night. No, it wasn't. That's what I've been saying all day. I'm saying that they didn't protect the quarterback. We had some people running wide open. Metcalf, he dropped that pass early in the game out in the flats there. We catch that, we keep the momentum going, and it didn't take much. All we needed was about 10 points from the offense. They would have won that game. You take the 14 points we gave up on turnovers, and it's still a competitive game. So why it looks like it's a blowout, is it really? It's just one aspect. You couldn't protect the quarterback. Same thing with the Chargers. So you got a mobile quarterback going against Houston. We'll be talking about a different story here. All right. Steelers team getting old. Yeah, they're going to get younger. They know what they need to do. DK fan broke his hand on the fan. Now he can't catch a damn pass. Well, he was a damn fool for going up in the stands, but I think that DK Metcalf, I thought he would come out and have a monster game after what happened with that fan. He came out okay, but that damn drop pass, that really hurt. And Aaron Rodgers said, the hell with that, man. I'm going somewhere else. Only problem is Austin, he hadn't really done anything all year. You got to go get a guy like Thielen out of the woodworks to help you out. Then you lose Big Washington. Jonnu Smith, he can't get the damn snap count right. You're right, Legion. It's the offense that killed Pittsburgh last night. But there's a lot of reasons to come up with why they lost. And when they win, it's a lot of reasons to come up why they win. They didn't win. It's just, what do we do now? Will you fire the coach? I don't think so. Should you consider Rodgers coming back? Yeah, I think so. But you also need to get somebody else that's younger that you can shovel in to get those key executions when you have to run. And just not ready for it. They should have passed it to Pat. He's the best tight end, and they didn't even pass him but 3 times. Perhaps. But I think they should have been more creative with the play calling. They were kind of predictable to me. It's kind of like what the Rams are. If you watch the Rams, they get 3-4 yards on first down. The next play is going to be a play action pass. Every 99% of the time, they're going to play action on second down. And watch that when you see the Rams play the Bears. And like I said, if I could pick up on these things, these teams that are watching film 100 hours a week, they definitely see what I'm talking about. But no problem. But the Steelers, we'll be back. So it's just a matter of time before we start hearing the dominoes fall with these teams filling their coaching ranks. And if something's going to happen with Tomlin, it's going to happen real quick. So until then, we ain't worried about it. But congratulations to the Texans, but we'll be back. So I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. I got to get up out of here, man. I got testing season in the air, so we got to get these tests going on. We got to get set up for all this kind of stuff. But I appreciate you guys chiming in with me today. If this is your first time, please like and subscribe and come check me out later on. There's some breaking news. I'll come back later on today. If not, I'll definitely be back on in the morning on an abbreviated version because, like I say, we got testing going on, so we got to get set up for that. So I say again, congratulations, Texans, but my Steelers will be back. And I'll let you know when I find out what's going to happen with Tomlin. So until then, you guys have a great day.